Okay, I'm back live again. I had a little interruption and I'm going back into my messaging board so that I can receive your messages as I'm doing this live streaming. All right, and we had left off over looking at the different wavelengths of electromagnetic energy. And I'm going to be navigating over to the canvas environment here in order to add this to our canvas site. And in just a few moments, I'll continue where I left off in the previous video. In the previous video, I was talking about electromagnetic energy, radiant energy. Man has learned how to manipulate it. The sun produces all wavelengths of electromagnetic energy. And then we were talking about longer wavelengths of visible light, red, and shorter wavelengths of visible light, blue. And then shorter than blue, 300 nanometers would be ultraviolet. Right in the middle, the visible spectrum is green, around 550, 580 nanometers. But the philosophical question I have to ask for you is, where on this chart is there red? Okay, that looks red to me. Boom. Where on this chart is blue? I'm going to go right into that neighborhood right there. Let me know if I'm right or wrong. Where in this chart is green? I'm going to shoot right around that neighborhood for green. Okay, now I actually cannot see the difference between those two because I am red-green colorblind. But I have a couple philosophical questions. Why is that blue? Why is this line green? Okay, I'm calling it green. I don't know if it's green or not green. Why is this red? The reason is because of the fundamental packet of electromagnetic energy known as a photon. Photons are packets of electromagnetic energy. And these photons, packets of electromagnetic energy, photons travel at specific wavelengths. And we talked about the concept of the wavelength in the previous video. Now, there is an abbreviation for wavelength that I will be using throughout these photosynthesis lectures. And that is the Greek symbol lambda. The Greek symbol lambda is the abbreviation for wavelength. So if I write wavelength versus the abbreviation, I'll be saving myself some time and screen as well. Photons that are traveling at the same wavelength have the same level of energy. Write that again a little smaller. Photons traveling at the same wavelengths have the same level of energy. So all of those photons that are traveling, say at the green wavelength of 540 nanometers, all those photons possess the same level of energy. Blue is the shortest wavelength of visible light and has the most energy of visible light. Now, the least energy in electromagnetic energy is in radio waves. So if I'm going to draw a scale of how much energy various frequencies of electromagnetic energy have on an increasing scale, radio waves are the least energetic. And then there are different frequencies of radio waves. There's AM radio waves, slightly more energetic, or FM radio waves. The FM radio waves, after that, microwaves, then the infrared, then the visible light. And the visible light, red, has the least amount of energy, green is in the middle, and blue is the most energetic wavelength of visible light. But we can keep on going down this spectrum of increasing energy from visible light, as we were just describing, red, the least energetic, then green, followed by blue. Then we get to ultraviolet radiation, which is harmful to life on Earth. Ultraviolet radiation is why you can't stay in the sun forever. You'll get sunburn. And then X-rays, even more energetic. X-rays followed by gamma rays, the shortest wavelengths of electromagnetic energy, and they are the most energetic. So why are plants green? And I asked this question a few minutes ago. Why is blue blue? Why is red red? Why are plants green? And the answer is pigment molecules. And what's special about pigment molecules is that pigment molecules, pigments, absorb photons traveling at specific wavelengths. At the same time, pigments reflect or transmit, meaning it goes right through it, photons at other wavelengths. So the reason plants are green is because they have pigments called chlorophyll and others that we'll be talking about in great detail. And the green chlorophyll pigment reflects green and absorbs the reds and the blues. In the textbook, in the photosynthesis chapter, In the beginning is a section on the Engelmann experiments. And on the Engelmann experiments, Ralph Engelmann, discovered which wavelength of visible light was most important. And what he discovered is that it was 425 nanometers. You'll see that number on the test. So the plants reflect means they're not using green. It's not the most important wavelength of electromagnetic energy. The plants are absorbing the reds and the blues, and it turns out around 550 to 425 nanometers. That's where plants get most of their energy, in the blue spectrum and in the red spectrum. And you're going to see several questions on the quiz pertaining to the information I just relayed to you. That concludes this video. Okay, so I hit the stop button on making the video, but I am still live streaming. So I will be posting this video here onto my Canvas site for Biology 1. And I will be following up with the next topic on photosynthesis here in a few moments. In the meantime, if you want to stay tuned, here's some music.
Wanna be happy, and we wanna be free, within your grasp if you want it to be. Can't change the past, but the present is now. All of us trying just to make it somehow. March forward, some is strong. I may not be there to help you along. March forward and be strong. I'll send you a friend, help you. My memory will linger inside your mind. Remember my words, and there you will find soul is within you. We are one and the same. Keep doing your best, for there's no one to blame. March forward, sun be strong. I may not be there to help you along. March forward, sun be strong. I'll send you a friend. And someday you'll see I'm proud of you, son. You're the best you can be. Never forget, always forgive. Keep your head up, boy, and live and let live. March forward, son, be strong. I'm your friend, I'll help you along. March forward and be strong. Send your friend to help you. strong. I may not be there to help you along. March forward, sun be strong. Send you some friends to help you.
In just a few moments, I'm going to be continuing on with what is going to be the third lecture in this series on photosynthesis. And this next lecture is going to be on the atmosphere of Earth. I'm only waiting on the previous video that I just concluded to upload into Canvas. Five bonus points to the student that sends me a text message in Facebook right now. Okay, I guess we got time for one more song.
Immersed in blue, circles in the sky, and I've lost you, start to feel real now. Thoughts of bliss paralyze my being, reduced to nothingness. The current takes me, I see the sign. It cannot break me, I will be fine, fine, fine. That current takes me, I see the sign. It cannot break me, I will be fine, fine, fine.
Welcome to the next video, Photosynthesis Lecture 2, where I'm going to discuss the atmosphere of Earth. Earth is 4.6 billion years old. I think you might see that question on the quiz. How old is Earth? How old is the solar system? They are 4.6 billion years old, and the universe is 14.5 billion years old. In my discussion of Earth's atmosphere, it's important to understand that the atmosphere has transitioned. It's not what it used to be. I'm going to be using the abbreviation ATM for atmosphere. ATM for atmosphere. So, taking your notes, watching these videos, Earth's atmosphere. A long time ago, 4 billion years ago. Now, there's an abbreviation that's used for billions of years ago. You've already seen me use it. Billions of years ago. Earth's early atmosphere had no oxygen, no O2. It had a lot of carbon dioxide. So we're going to contrast Earth's early atmosphere with what it is today. But 4 billion years ago, there was a lot of methane, carbon dioxide, much more carbon dioxide than there is today, hydrogen sulfide, nitrogen, but no oxygen, ammonia, things that are toxic to life. But then something happened that transitioned Earth's atmosphere from the early atmosphere to what we see today. Today, the Earth's atmosphere is about 79% nitrogen. And Earth's early atmosphere had plenty of nitrogen, had lots of carbon dioxide, methane. However, no methane in Earth's atmosphere now. Hydrogen sulfide, no hydrogen sulfide in Earth's atmosphere now. And we see oxygen. And the atmosphere today is about 16% oxygen. That gets us to about 95% of Earth's atmosphere, the remaining being water and the noble gases, those period 7 gases, helium, neon, argon, krypton, radon, that have full electron shells in the valence level. They're the non-reactive gases. So, what caused Earth's atmosphere to change? The most important concept of our class, photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is what converted Earth's atmosphere, because it's photosynthesis conducted by those photosynthetic organisms such as cyanobacteria and plants that were able to take carbon dioxide and water and then to convert those into glucose. And atmospheric oxygen. There was no oxygen in Earth's atmosphere until plants evolved, producing atmospheric oxygen in sufficient quantities. I'm going to write the general equation for photosynthesis. The general equation for photosynthesis: plants are going to use radiant energy, that is, sunlight. And the plants are going to use their pigment molecules I discussed in the previous video. And we'll talk more about them in subsequent videos. But specifically, the pigment chlorophyll is going to absorb photons traveling at specific wavelengths to provide the activation energy necessary for plants to break down carbon dioxide and break down water in order to make glucose, C6H12O6, and in the process they're going to release oxygen. Now this is not a balanced equation, meaning it's disobeying the first law of thermodynamics, because on the left-hand side I have one carbon, and on the right-hand side I have 6, and I can't make 1 turn into 6. So I'm now going to write the balanced equation of photosynthesis. Energy from the sun plus 6 carbon dioxide molecules plus 6 water molecules is going to give us 1 glucose molecule and 6 atmospheric oxygens. I'll start with the balancing of the carbons. 6 carbons, 6 carbons. Now I'll look at the balancing of the oxygens. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 more is 18. Here's 6 oxygens. On the other side of the equation, 6 times 2 is 12. Those 12 plus these 6 make 18. This is the balanced chemical equation for photosynthesis that you will need to input on the quiz when it asks you to type in the general equation for photosynthesis. Just to make that clear, see if I can get this all in one line. Energy from the sun plus 6 carbon dioxides plus 6 H2Os gives us 1 glucose and 6 atmospheric oxygens. When we go into the greater details of photosynthesis, this is where the atmospheric oxygen is coming from in photosynthesis. The first reason that plants and photosynthesis are important is that without plants there would have never have been oxygen in Earth's atmosphere, and animals never would have evolved. Plus, as we've discussed before, the process of photosynthesis produces glucose. Glucose is what animals need, we'll learn that in the next chapter, to sustain their cellular processes. So 2 reasons out of 3 that photosynthesis is important to life on Earth. Number 1, the plants produce atmospheric oxygen, with which life on land would be impossible. Number 2, plants produce glucose, which animals rely upon as a primary source of energy for their cells. This concludes this video. In the next video, we will be discussing the third reason photosynthesis is important. So, for those of you that are on the live stream, we're still here. I have pressed the stop button on my recording software that is going to post this into the Canvas environment. And that's going to take a little bit of time. Stand by.
Sunrise come, feeling good. Break the cycle of life. Fearful for the coming year. Just can't sleep at night. Wind blows through the tree. I start to come alive. Fear of mine, no time left to get it right. Time is now, start tonight. Yeah, no time left to get it right. Time is now. Pondering subtle existence. So what have I become? What are we becoming? Things never seem clear, like rain in the sunshine. Devil beat his wife. Still in Oceanside. Now the island is ablaze. Hey, now sail away. No time left, so get it right. Time is now, stop tonight. No time left, so get it right. Yeah, time is now. Never. Sail to the south away from this place. Watch as they follow us out into space. Just come to the edge, existential play. Pray to the sun to be sailing again. Yeah, pray to the sun to be sailing again. No time left, so get it right. Yeah, time is now. Start tonight. at your hands, oh, hands that shape me, will now shape the world, oh, for all to see. Stop and think, oh, as time goes on, why have you left me, oh, here all alone? I look up to the summer moon, I thank the stars, baby, I feel in tune. Another wrinkle in skin, it's just a ripple in time. Oh yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Just take me back, salty seaside sunset, down to the island. I just wanna go, stay out of this hole. Yesterday was 100 years ago. Don't ever let go. Tomorrow is not promised. The present a gift. What is reality? Where do I want to be? You are where you want to be.
I'm just waiting for
another wrinkle in skin,
and I'll be moving on to the next video here shortly.
Oh yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Okay, so if you're wondering,
look at the ground. Put your feet down on the island. Let's roll in the sand. Just take me with you. Get away
in bliss
from everything and anyone and anything we might have had to do today. Do today. Do today. Get out this place. Save me from myself. Take me to that salty seaside sunset. In my mind, we gon' get real high. Another wrinkle in skin, it's just a ripple in time. Oh yeah, everything's fine.
has completed loading. So
Everything's fine.
In 3 seconds, we'll begin the next lecture. The 4th lecture, lecture 4. In 15 seconds.
Oh, everything's fine.
This is the 4th lecture on photosynthesis, the importance of photosynthesis. We concluded the previous video by talking about the 3 reasons photosynthesis is so important. We mentioned that without photosynthesis, there'd be no atmospheric oxygen and animals could not exist. And then we said that also photosynthesis produces glucose. And glucose is the molecule that animal cells most desire in order to make ATP, the universal energy currency of all cells, which we'll be describing that process in the next chapter, cellular respiration. The third reason that photosynthesis is so important is the production of ozone, as in the ozone layer. It was only after photosynthesis started, and then a billion years, that is one with a B, billion years after photosynthesis was occurring, that the ozone layer formed. Once atmospheric oxygen could form, 3 molecules of atmospheric oxygen can combine to form 2 molecules of ozone. Ozone is O3. Atmospheric oxygen is O2. The importance of the ozone layer as I mentioned in a previous video, the sun produces all frequencies of electromagnetic energy, long wavelengths and incredibly short wavelengths and all the wavelengths in between. The ozone layer reflects those harmful wavelengths such as ultraviolet radiation, X-rays, and gamma rays. Ozone reflects harmful ultraviolet radiation, X-rays, and gamma rays back out into space. It wasn't until the ozone layer formed that life could emerge on Earth. Because before the ozone layer, life could only live underwater, because the surface of the water also reflects harmful ultraviolet X-rays and gamma rays. But after a billion years of photosynthesis and the formation of the ozone layer, then the harmful ultraviolet radiation, X-rays, and gamma rays produced by the sun were being reflected into outer space, and life could emerge from the ocean onto land, could come out from the mud and from underneath rocks. So we have 3 things that are important, earth-changing and animal life-sustaining occurrences that we attribute to photosynthesis. Atmospheric oxygen and glucose, as I've repeatedly said. Animals wouldn't exist without atmospheric oxygen, and the only reason there's atmospheric oxygen is because of photosynthesis. Glucose, the #1 molecule that animal cells crave in order to make ATP, the universal energy currency of all cells, and the ozone layer, which reflects harmful ultraviolet radiation back into outer space, thereby allowing life to live on the land in the plain view of the sun. The next video, we will be talking about the details of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a compound word. It consists of the word photo and synthesis. Photo pertains to photons, and synthesis refers to the formation of glucose. As we're going to learn in the details, photosynthesis, the compound word, is broken up into 2 series of reactions. The first half, the photo half, relies upon photons and are called the light reactions, or the light-dependent reactions, because they are the reactions that require the sunlight in order to break down water and to make ATP for the breakdown of glucose. The synthesis part of the word photosynthesis, the formation of the glucose That's a series of reactions that are called the dark reactions. So in the next videos, we're going to be describing the light reactions of the photo part of the word photosynthesis and the dark reactions, the synthesis part of the word photosynthesis. That concludes this video. That concludes this live stream broadcast.